Hey everybody, welcome to session 67 of Materia. So the last few sessions have involved the Crass Menagerie upon their arrival back to Greenhill uh, in a means of, well, infiltration and sneaking in because Greenhill has been beset and taken, not completely over, but definitely taken over and almost like interned by ogrekin, ogres, hill giants, forest giants, that lot. That had originally been a problem on the Eastern Front as they had mobilized and gathered, and the Adventurers League, as well as some of the Verdant Cause and the various protecting forces of Greenhill, went to fight them off. However, where they had for many years, if not longer, pretty much since the beginning of Greenhill, been successful at protecting Greenhill, upon the Menagerie's return from their successful campaign in the Deep Root Marshes, discovered that Greenhill had fallen, or not completely fallen, but been taken over. An interesting turn of events is that the Giantkin seem to have a common bond or thread with the worshippers of the Mother of Bounties, which was a religious group that was getting more and more popularity in Greenhill because of the, very full river runs, the plentiful bounty of fruits and vegetables and swamp roots and everything that were occurring over the last, few years, maybe longer. Thus, as far as they understand, when the Giants actually did make it to Greenhill and they did destroy and level the Adventurers League, a somewhat kind of peace was quickly forged under the common thread of the Mother of Bounties. The Menagerie has been here for a day and some change now. This is their second day. And they have already managed to fell a few giants and ogres, causing a bunch of a ruckus. However, they also got the attention of some unlikely allies, or allies that they would never have expected to be here, as they were fleeing the site of the giant combatant or the giant fight. Al noticed a glint repeatedly in his eyes, and then a voice called out to them, as a hooded figure mentioned, "Well, you certainly know how to make a lot of noise." And they followed them down through various abandoned buildings and eventually to a hidden door or false bottom door in another building leading down to a cellar where the wall had collapsed and led to part of the waterways, the underground sewer systems or so of Greenhill, where they navigated and the group met what has currently been dubbed the Fox Force, a rather interesting group, seemingly led by Filbert, the gnome. Uh, and they had told the Menagerie that they are friends of Meeker's and that they had been sent down here as Meeker is currently unable to come down because of his station and position, and he's being tied up keeping Navori from causing earthquakes and unleashing nature's wrath upon Greenhill. So the Menagerie had continued discussions and moving with the Fox Force, eventually leading to a abandoned tailor's complex, where has been their hideout for about 3 weeks now. Good place to get disguises and seemingly go unnoticed. And the Menagerie had discussed amongst themselves what the plan is and how much do they trust uh, these individuals. But eventually, they did have a meal. They did get some reports of some of the scouting. And in the next day, they headed out with Filbert to the markets to try to acquire some of the supplies that was requested by the refugees and the escapees of Greenhill proper. Uh, Bandages, medical supplies, food is apparently not a problem, or at least acquiring here in Greenhill, and some other articles of clothing and other things. Uh, Upon their interactions amongst the many merchants and individuals in one of the little market squares that had cropped up in the Green Hills western side. Uh, Marb or Dregnar? I know it's Marb. Marb happened to spot a few of the brown-robed individuals, seemingly synonymous with followers and devotees to the Mother of Bounties, kind of blocking an alleyway. And he noticed that there was another one of them further down the alleyway doing something to the side of a building where, very suspiciously, they got up and left, kind of looking around. Marb made note of this and went to investigate, where he very quickly made note of the symbol, the hooked-looking 7, and then scratched it out feverishly, joining with the group. Essentially, that is where we had left off, as the menagerie Al has been buying a wooden fox carved of foxwood and something like that. Rock had acquired various hallucinogenic substances from put that in your pipe and smoke it too, from a very blitzed Minotaur and Cobalt merchant. Davis had interacted with a couple other merchants, and one of which was interacting with a white silver-scaled female dragonborn. And Dregnar had frustratingly and unsuccessfully found any of his merchant contacts down here. It is, mid-afternoon. Filbert has mentioned that he's had some success possibly arranging some trade for some, salves and ointments and potted fish and potted vegetables and stuff like that, just to make it for easier transport. And I believe Marb had kind of gotten the group back together or whatever, and you guys are now free to continue on session 67. Test.
Yeah, no, we're here. We're probably nobody wants to speak up. I honestly, we were waiting on one of them to go get something, right? I don't remember who it was. It was one of the Fox Force was supposed to be going to do something, and we were all just like waiting, weren't we?
Well, yeah. So Filbert
We were
has
gonna
been
send him to the camp, right?
Oh, well, we were getting
eventually.
supplies. Yeah, we were here to get supplies
Yes.
first.
So
But
eventually,
just to
yes.
refresh my memory, yeah, they were just off doing something, and we were just killing time essentially while they went and did it. Is what it seemed,
Yeah, and
right?
Filbert has kind of come back to you guys, kind of. Well, that was kind of successful actually. I think I got a couple of prospects. They said to come back tomorrow or the next day in the same square. They should have gathered what, supplies they can from the apothecaries and maybe some of the medical tents that had been around and all that. No promises on the quality. They said it would be good and it'd be safe and it would last for a while. So I think we'll be back here in a day or two, scout it out, see what supplies they have. Yes.
Sounds good. I mean,
Well,
anything's better than nothing, and the guys out at the outpost were pretty dry, so.
okay. So, that is one thing. What else did you guys need? Because food's not a problem. We've already discussed that.
Yeah, I mean, our main thing was just information. This was more of just a bit of a,
Oh, right.
yeah, kind of seeing what we could do for the rest of the people while because during the day, I'm sure you realize it's not as easy to go gathering information during the day except for certain things. So, tonight, maybe we go back out. Actually, DM, what time? It's still kind of like midday, right?
Yeah, you guys have, it's past lunch, but it's still very much midday. I would say, let's call it 2:30 in the afternoon or so. Whatever works for you guys. But yeah, you guys have plenty of time, still daylight. I know last session Marb said that he wants to go back to the Adventurers League at night to check on his little feather marking.
That's the only thing that I had kind of like on my books.
Oh.
Actually, well, yeah, I'm kind of eager to get back to the rest of the group, but if anybody else wants to do anything.
I got what I came for.
I kind of did my shopping, and I think Mark told me to be good.
Oh, you guys went shopping? What'd you get?
I just got some refills for my pipe.
Oh yeah, I forgot you smoked. And
It's nothing,
got
nothing exciting.
I took your advice, Davis. I went and exchanged the rooster, and he
Yeah.
says it's a fox. It looks a little like a wolf. I don't know if it's close enough to a fox, right? What do you think?
There weren't a whole lot of foxes around when I was on the mainland for the most part, and I haven't seen a whole bunch, but based on like the symbols that we see around here, it looks kind of like it.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So, nothing specific for anyone. Okay, cool. So if no one's too interested, you are free to start. Filbert will be like, okay, so I guess we're done. Do you guys want to start looking around anywhere in particular? How can I be of assistance? We're going undercover. Are we gonna go look for stuff?
Weren't we gonna get Al into with the sisters?
Yeah, we could do that.
I believe that's the general direction we were headed in.
You're our best undercover guy.
Mm-hmm. At least want to keep an eye out for any sisters or sermons on the way back.
Yeah, we can do kind of what we did down at the Central Bounty. Just sort of have, people posted around while you do your thing.
Okay.
We could even go back to the Central Bounty if you really want. I don't know if you want to keep hitting up that same place. It might start giving away the game, but.
They were expecting Jessica to join.
Oh, it doesn't have to be Jessica, though.
But if you are Jessica, they're expecting. You could say, hey, my family didn't want me to, and now I've escaped, and I'm here. This is how much it means. Or they might just, stab you for not showing up the first time. I don't know. I don't know how they hacked.
That's a good call. I haven't seen anything. I don't see if they do that publicly or anything.
Wait a minute. Al. And then I'm going to, rap on his shoulder, do you have your armor on under there? And I'm going to listen for, a clang.
Yeah, if you're purposely...
not so loud that it,
trying.
rings out in the middle of everything, but just, dunk, dunk, dunk.
Yeah, there's definitely the sound of,
Get a toothy grin.
That's pretty cool, because, you're pretty still well protected in spite of, Yeah, no, that's great. I think if you're up to it, this sounds... Could be good. Could be good.
Yeah. Davis, the one thing that you did notice is when you were actually kind of, interacting, your hand did kind of phase in and out just a little bit. You're like, ooh, okay, got it.
Yeah, I know that's going to happen every time. It's still weird, but yeah.
I'm not used to it either.
Alright.
Alright, who's ready to go exploring?
Okay.
So I guess you'll run
All
point,
right.
we'll all follow, do our own thing.
All right. So, as you guys have kind of discussed, Filbert's like, okay, so, I guess Adaka and I will, we don't want to necessarily lose you guys, so we can help you guys get back. We'll kind of follow and stay to a distance and let you guys do you while we kind of just observe? Yes? Maybe?
That's how we did it last time. We're not really pros at this.
Okay. I'm not hearing a no. All right.
Yeah,
And then he just starts walking just confidently in a direction. And Adaka will be like, Filbert, I don't think you know where. And she kind of rushes over, the human female with the large brown braid, kind of. Filbert, and puts their hand on his shoulder and kind of turns him. We don't know where they're going. Let them lead. He's like, oh, yeah, good point. Kind of like impatiently like looking at you guys with like big eyes. He's like, where are we going? Where are we going?
I'm literally just
I'm
gonna
ready.
like not make eye contact and just like fade off to the side, like already kind of trying to fade into the crowd and just ignoring him entirely.
Yeah. Really not too difficult to get there, especially since you have Marb and Dragnar, who are both very proficient in travels in different ways. So it takes a little bit of time because you know it's more towards it's the central bounty. It is central, still western side, so not too far away, but it is kind of more central to where you guys are. You guys are traveling. Are you guys walking as a group of 5, as a group of 7? What are you guys thinking?
I'll be shuffling.
Um,
Everybody doing my old man impression, so be kind of trailing further back.
I want to go into alleys and check if I can spot any more of the scribblings on any buildings. Especially if they're like the gathering buildings. I don't know if we pass any on the way.
Okay. Go ahead. This will, if you're kind of branching off from the group, you won't necessarily slow the group's travel. If you are letting the group know what you're doing, it will slow
Sure.
the
I'll
group.
like snake off into like an alley, like check it out real quick, and then come out and like meet the group like
Okay.
a few things away. Like I'll try to reunite with them every so.
Yeah.
Minimally.
Let's see here, because I want to make sure I get this right. Yeah, Al. Go ahead, Al. You first. Go ahead.
On the second alley he tries to explore, I'd like to follow him. I'm looking for somewhere to transform.
Gotcha. So Al, I was about to say, Al, you're the only one with a high enough passive perception that like when Marb just kind of sneaks off, like the group is going, kind of following Dragnar. Dragnar is doing, his confident dwarf walk, and everyone's following. And then Al, you just kind of notice that like one time you're looking around, and Marb's not there, and then you just kind of look over your shoulder and you see him, and Marb's kind of just on the side of like an alley, kind of disappearing around the corner, away from sight, and you're just kind of walking. And then when you get to another cross section, you see Barb kind of coming back, checking buildings along the way. Another time that he does it, you just kind of instinctively slip away. No one seems out of the rest of the group seems to notice you guys doing this because they're kind of focused on just following Dragnar. You guys kind of go there. Al, it seems good enough of a place. And then Marb, go ahead for the sake of the walk. Go ahead and give me an investigation check. And you said you were specifically looking for like gathering halls and like and on top of finding
like like any building that I can find out. But I know last time we mentioned like it was like their gathering area. Like I think that's what.
Yeah, because it was
if I
the one that
anything like that, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. The building that you saw with the carvings that you scratched it out. Oh, nice. That was basically it was a like a there's a how do I explain it? There wasn't like a solid roof. It was kind of like a pergola, right? Or and then it had 3 walls and an open front. And in there, down the center, there was just like a pit where you can make like a long like a snake-like pit kind of thing, like a straight pit. And there's coals and just the remnants of previous fires. And then there was just benches and tables kind of lined up and just looked like it was a place that people brought stuff to cook and gather and eat. So you're specifically kind of looking for gathering halls, stuff like that. 23 total investigation. It takes a little bit. Like you're kind of walking and you see Al kind of one time kind of slip in the same alley with you, and you see Al kind of looking around, makes eye contact with you, does this little wave, and then you see the little paper, the burning paper effect as Al shifts into, who are you shifting to, Al?
Amongst the sisters, do we see various races or mostly humans?
Halflings, humans, half elves. But I mean, you're in Greenhill, you're in Cled. It's kind of across the board. It's roughly 1/3 halfling, 1/3 human, and the 1/3 everything else.
Okay.
So
Thinking a female half elf, Carme. Is that how I'm gonna
Carme,
pronounce that?
okay, sure, Carme.
Oh my. Brunette, shorter side. I'm considering braided hair.
Sure. The short
Uh,
braided, okay, short with braided hair, okay.
I don't know, 3 piercings on the left ear.
Oh
Uh,
God, the details.
otherwise,
Ah.
It's good. I love it.
but otherwise,
Mhm.
pretty, kind of average.
Braided, 3 piercings, left ear. All right, this is how I remember when I'm describing you. Okay, there. What type of clothing are you wearing? It's kind of important since you can shift it with your illusion.
Uh,
None.
whoa.
Very long hair.
I have no idea what the show is rated.
Rated D&D.
On
I mean, let's
YouTube,
be
I
honest
put it
here.
as not appropriate for children every time.
Yeah.
Perfect. I'm thinking kind of natural beige to dark brown robes. Maybe yeah, long brown skirt and a beige top.
Okay. Okay. So pretty commoner looking.
Yeah,
It's pretty
long,
simple.
long sleeve on the kind of on the conservative side.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. So yeah, Marb. As you're kind of checking out, in this particular alley, there was nothing, and you just kind of see Al, and then you see him do the paper, and he shifts into this half elven female. He gives you a wink, and then kind of goes back to the group. Uh, do anything, Al, or do you just kind of walk up naturally?
I introduce myself to Marv in my regular voice. Hello,
As
Carme.
long as it's not me, you can transfigure into anyone. Get us some good info, Al, and give her like a pat in the back.
As you do, there's that little just sound of I always forget what armor you're wearing, Al. It
Scale.
is. Yeah, you just kind of feel like his scale armor kind of underneath and a little bit of padding. You're like, oh, that's weird.
It's all about the info.
Oh yeah,
Think about the juicy black man.
I'm gonna go get that black belt. Let's go. I
So
just
yeah.
get away from Marv.
Yeah, so you kind of get back with the group, the two of you, and then Al, you kind of just see Marb continuously as you are following and catching up to Dregnar and the rest of the group kind of picking off. With the 23 investigation check, it takes a little bit of time, as perhaps, the previous building that you saw was one of the more larger ones of these types. You do pass up a tavern. However, as you're kind of walking by it and kind of looking through and peering through what would be the opening, the wood slats have been closed, and just whatever you're able to see, you can see that it hasn't been occupied for a while. Uh, there's dust kind of collecting, and you can even see, even in the daylight, where maybe the sign is, you see some cobwebs even on the outside kind of gathering. So probably not any foot traffic in any recent time. Then you kind of keep going. Eventually, you do get to another location. Seems to be another type of gathering place. This one looks to be more along the lines of just kind of what you would consider like a chop house. It looks like there is an individual practice that has some hanging game and all that. However, in the terms of game, very sparse, and it just looks like there's a lot more of the fish variety, and even some like river reptilians and amphibian type of things, like really large bullfrogs. I'm not saying like really, really large, but we're talking like maybe the size of your fist and stuff like that. And even some salamanders that are maybe like the size of your arm, some snake and all that. And there is essentially like a portion of the building that has a few, maybe enough seating for 20 or so people. And you do kind of take your time, you go around, and you find somewhere along one of the wooden boards on the outside of the building that little 7-ish looking symbol with the hook at the end. Hey, dear.
Tell her we say hi.
Hello.
Go ahead.
Hola.
She says hola. I don't know if you heard her. They laughed.
Mm-hmm.
Yay, food. She brought delicious, delicious wings. And it actually smells spicy.
They're all spicy.
Okay. Give me 1 second, boys. I'm just gonna. Oh.
The one
Sounds
is
like a break
they make
time
them
nosh
dark or
session.
something. The other one's maple chipotle.
Okay.
Wow,
then these
that
are
sounds so
Ooh,
good.
lemon-
maple chipotle.
lemon
Yeah.
pepper.
Lemon pepper spice.
Lemon pepper. What is it? Buffalo.
Buffalo. Okay. Nice. Thank you. I will eat some of those during the break. Yay. Yay. Yeah,
I
they
ate
were
5
like.
wings and tapped out.
Oh, it's it.
I shared.
Oh.
Oh, I shared a couple of Vanessa, but I ate 5.
Okay.
There's only 4, 3 because she had one of them.
Okay. Well, thank you so
then-
much.
I let her take home 3 of my lemon pepper and just replace them by 1.
Okay. Sounds good. That was nice of you. Right.
Belated birthday.
Yes, very belated. I'll try to take a break here in about 10-15 minutes and catch up with you.
Fine.
Sound good?
August.
Okay. I won't be too long. I'll see you in a minute. Wait. So, okay, quickly, boys. Marb, yeah, so you are able to see that carved symbol on the side of basically what would have been earlier in the month. It would have been a chop house. Now it's kind of like a fish-centric chop house. So,
Can I scratch it like I did the other one too?
Oh, the boys are all
mhm. I did. Yeah, you are able to. You're able to, take your knife, kind of go, and it's just in the wood. It's a little deeper than the one previously. It looks like maybe they had a little bit more time, but yeah, there's nothing keeping you from removing the symbol.
Sweet. I will take out like a dagger real quick and just like scratch over it. Just so.
Okay. All right. All right. So yeah, and I'm assuming then you just kind of run or not run, but as Marb does, join with the group.
Mm-hmm. Keep like zigzagging, keep looking, yeah.
Okay. I would say along that path, as Davis and Brock are kind of talking, and Filbert is doing his thing with Adaka, sorry, kind of staying with the group, but kind of staying kind of familiar to how Marb travels with you guys off to the side, just kind of staying in the shadows, looking around, not purposely hiding, but just kind of keeping a distance from the group should something come up. Marb, you do see one more building, and this is the one that actually has a lot of traffic going to it, and it happens to be one of those neutral shrines. However, upon reaching it, no longer is it neutral. There are, idols of the Mother of Bounty there. There are plenty of those different types of flower wreaths laid out, baskets of fruit, baskets of fish, and you just see foot traffic coming in and out. Possibly at most at one time you see about a dozen people, in some form of prostration or prayer or whatever towards their deity. And you kind of get to this, and you're kind of look around the outside. The people don't seem to really pick up on you just because you're naturally sneaky bird-like self. And there are many of these 7 hook-like symbols just kind of etched into the wooden arch of this little shrine, the steps on the side, the fencing around it. It just seems to be almost integral to part of the design of this now Mother Bounty Shrine.
I'll go ahead and scratch the symbol out of this, and can we say just for flavor that I take a note of the? You said it was like a 7. What 7?
Well, it's again, it's that little 7 hook here. I'll try to get rid of the 7 scribbles that you did. This is all. Oh no, I deleted the wrong one. I didn't want to delete that. I wanted to delete the other stuff. But yeah, it's basically.
The 7.
There we go. I got it.
Here, I'll
Yeah.
draw over it. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. So it's basically, it looks not. It isn't not a 7, right? It just kind of like the best your eyes distinguish it. It's kind of like a 7 like, and then it has a tail that hooks up. However, there are many of these symbols. They're just kind of like, it's almost like a pattern where it's like that, and it hooks into another one, just like along the railing, along that. And as you're kind of going there, and some of the plants are kind of growing into the fencing, and you're looking, you kind of see, and then one of the worshippers kind of looks, sees you, waves, says, "Mother's bounty upon you."
About my fat cat.
No. They were literally talking about something else. They were talking about a meth cat, and they were trying to
And
find
they're all orange.
an orange or pink meth cat. They didn't remember what it was.
The mystery continues.
The mystery continues. Yeah.
Fine.
I called the right from
I
the
saw
podcast.
that and I was like, y'all are calling my baby
No,
fat on
no.
Discord.
No, we're not. That's general. Where we talk is no. So, yeah. So more, a bald, not old but balded human male, stubbly kind of beard, sees you as you're kind of like walking along the fencing of this like shrine. "Mother's bounty upon you. Would you like to join us, sir? Sir?"
No, I'm good. Thank you. I'm late for my dentist. Bye. Just like keep going.
Give me one of those classic Marv deception checks.
Deception. Yes. Mm-hmm.
You're fairly good at that.
No, he's not.
I mean,
Not today.
if I roll well, yeah.
He's like, "Dentist? But your kind have needs
Don't
for
ask us an awkward question. It's so rude. It's very species.
Sorry.
It's okay. I get it all the time. Bounty to you too.
Thank you. Many bounties upon you." And then he just kind of turns back, and you just kind of hear him go, "I'm a specious. I need to improve."
Class.
All right.
Seems like everybody is in some degree.
Right. Yeah, so Marb, you're able to kind of rejoin the group. And right around here is where, you've seen now a few of these symbols. The group has kind of wandered with Al looking as Carme. And up above, the building line, you're starting to see that 40-foot, 50-foot tree that marks the central bounty. Philbert will be like, "That is a big. That's a tree. That is a tree. I don't think it's really that big. It just looks really big because all the buildings and there's no other trees and yeah, that's a tree." Anyone do anything?
When I meet up with the group, I want to just signify without words who I am. So I'll like make eye
Mhm.
contact with Davis and then like tap my shoulder, but my finger goes through a little bit.
Okay. Yeah. So Davis, you see
just-
that half-elven form.
I'll give
I guess
a bit of a
walking on Mar might have helped.
yeah. I'll give like a little cocked head glance, like okay, and then like kind of knowing nod.
Okay. All right. So now basically the entire group is together, with Adaka kind of off to the side. Adaka's gonna, Filbert, come here. Let them do their. We'll just watch. We'll observe. We gotta see why Meeker, wanted us to find them in the first place. And so I guess I'll kind of ask you guys, and then when we kind of figure out what they're all doing, we'll go ahead and take an early break just for a few moments, do like a 10, and then we'll set up this whatever
Yay.
y'all are doing.
Goodbye.
So Al, you are Carme, and then I guess I just need to know, like, Dregnar, Barb, Davis, Rock, Al, what do you guys think you're going to be doing while you make this plan?
Is there somewhere anywhere in the area I can like sit and just like an old man sitting on a bench or something?
Sure. Why not? Of course, you're kind of like stumbling around looking.
Yeah,
And
so
you're
I'm gonna
like,
go to a bench and just sit down, and I'll make
okay.
it. I'm gonna sit in a way where it looks like I'm just kind of like I'm tucked over myself and like half passed out, and I'll be
Okay.
using that to disguise the fact that I will be going through Cat Pebble.
Okay. So you got your mangy, gray-furred cat pebble out with you, right?
Yeah, and Cat Pebble's just gonna try and follow Al without getting under anyone's feet.
All right, perfect. You are able to find a bench. As you kind of hobble over, there is one boy, one girl, probably 9 or 10 years old. They seem to be kind of just playing amongst the bench, kind of like a game of tag, reaching over and then you kind of hobble over and they see you and they're like, "Oh, hello, sir," and they just kind of the boy tags the girl and starts running off.
I'm
It's like,
gonna,
"Damn it!"
if whichever one's closest, I'll be like, guys, he may nod off for a little bit. Just let him sleep. Don't. Just. He'll be fine. I'll keep an eye on him.
They're like, "Okay, okay," and then the girl catches up to the boy and tags him. "You're it," and then starts running kind of off to the side. Right. Anything from you, Davis, since you went ahead and
Yeah, so I'm gonna kind of be playing up some like I'm sort of watching over him, but also just kind of just scouting, like not even trying to hide that I'm actually kind of scouting, looking for things. So if I will literally be just kind of like looking down alleyways, just peeking into shops, like looking through like at any groups of people I may like kind of just go nearby and get the look of them, just to not really hiding it, just taking a look around, taking everything in.
Okay. And as a reminder, everyone, you're still kind of like in your disguises, like Davis. You had you're basically looking like your sailor folk, all that. So Rock is old man on a bench. We'll call it Cat Pebble is following Carme. Marb and Dregnar, anything from you two?
I want to keep like doing going into the alleys for the marks, but I also want to look if there's any more. I forget. I guess like I don't know, like ethos activity, like underground, kind of like
Okay. All right.
trafficking, kind of like the underground society kind of thing. If any
Yeah.
like survived the race, I'm guessing they have some stuff that I can find, like detect where they meet or stuff.
Yeah, the little thieves' can't markings and stuff like that. All right. So go ahead and because you'll be doing this while they're interacting. Go ahead and give me another investigation check as you're like in a different area now.
So is this like his background feature then, I guess?
Part of his backstory is he knows thieves can't, and then he also has an ability to kind of find things amongst.
Oof.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind. I'll get to you like while you're investigating. Like it's gonna be where you're kind of going alley and twisting alley and all that, and like sides of buildings. And at some point, you'll even approach the bench where Rock is sleeping, and you'll kind of just check the bench and everything. But we'll get back to that.
Good. Okay.
Yep. All right, Dregnar, anything from you, sir?
Yeah, Adam, I'm kind of seeing this as like a town center marketplace where we're at.
Closest to that, yeah. It's not quite a center. It has kind of become a center just because that's where Cassidy's garden was, and now it's been kind of overtaken and turned into a place of worship. So while it's not central, it's like kind of more in the center of a street. There's not actually like a cross street coming into it. It does have a lot of traffic in this area, mostly people coming to see the garden, see the tree, listen to the sermons, stuff like that.
Is there a place here that has outside seating where I could possibly get something to drink or eat, like I'm having a meal, but I'm watching traffic?
Yes, actually. It doesn't look as you kind of like see one, and there's a couple like, it's almost like geez, just like a place that's literally just has little 2-person tables set up all along the outside of a couple buildings, and they don't look like they were originally meant to be any type of food establishment. It just seems like a couple buildings that have now taken on the fact that there's so much foot traffic here, and they've just kind of come together, set up a bunch of tables. They have so much food, so they're just offering a means to eat while you're close to this now central shrine to the Mother of Bounties.
Okay, so I'm going to make my way over there.
Okay.
I'm going to take a seat randomly.
Okay.
Reason number one, I want to be able to see Al and him going inside the place, but also I want to hear the conversations that are going on around me. I'll order food, I'll order tea, whatever they got.
Good.
And I want to try to keep my back to the house so I'm facing out into the street.
Sure.
So I can see as much as possible.
Understood. Yeah, you're able to do that, and it's actually kind of convenient because it looks like while the both sides of the streets kind of have the same thing, but it's kind of interesting because you realize that the 3 buildings, like let's say to your left and the 2 buildings to the right, are all kind of working together. But they seat you over to the right, so you're looking at the building, no problem, seated comfortably, and as you're kind of sitting there getting your tea, you're watching Carme start heading into the central bounty, and you see this little gray mangy cat kind of following. CJ, go ahead and roll me a stealth check for Pebble. It'll be D20 plus 4.
Okay, 16.
16, not bad. All right. And Dregnar, as you're kind of sitting there and just kind of seeing it kind of unfold, the strong, as the wind kind of blows in, there's a strong scent of incense, of interesting herbs, and maybe some perfumed oils and everything that kind of catches your nose. Very not related to your food, and the wind is blowing the opposite way, not like from the central bounty. So it's not coming from there, and that's where we'll take our break.